Good evening, welcome, folks, to FMA Discussion. This is episode 361, and tonight we have the pleasure of having Guro, Greg, and Jay on. They've been on before, episodes 92 and 93, respectively. Ironically, 2 years to this day, and no, I did not plan that. I'm not that good. Matter of fact, my memories came up this morning, and boom, 2 years episode with them. So, yeah, kind of funny. But at any rate, they're going to be talking about the science style, corto cadena, largo mano, screma. And tonight the focus is going to be more on the pendulum, the use of it, how to use the apparatus, and how to set it up. And they're going to be showing demos on that. And then have a couple of their students are going to be coming on and maybe speaking on behalf of it and showcasing whatever they have and that. But before we get started, a moment of silence. For unfortunately, the passing of GM Dante Levelar. So just a moment of silence. All right, I'm gonna be bringing them up. And if you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. Smash that like button, and we're just going to get started. Oh, without further ado, Guru Jay and Guru Greg.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi guys.
So, how's it going?
Good to have you. Good. Thanks for having us again, Dean.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I couldn't believe 2 years. That memory came up this morning, and 2 years to the day. I couldn't have planned that if I wanted to.
Well, no, that's not. That's the universe that the dean is on. Like it's not even trying. That it actually just naturally. Like
See that?
the Egyptians and the Mayans, you like know how to get the alignments of the heavenly body.
I'm telling you, without even thinking about it, I just put that energy out there.
That's the best when you don't think. It's just going with the flow.
Very, like it was
pendulum-esque.
Yeah, that was freaking something. I'm like, man, what are the odds of that? So yeah, so we're just getting started. So I kind of explained in the intro there that we're going to be basically talking more specifically on the pendulum, the apparatus, how you guys use it, the importance thereof, and that. And Greg, you can hear us still okay?
Yep, I'm still here. I can hear you guys.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So 2 years since we had those episodes, 92, 93, and they both went so well. Folks really dug what you guys were doing. It's funny. I really seen like momentum and interest following those episodes. And I'm not by no shape, way, or form saying it was due to that, but I've just seen you guys grow in just like the student base, your seminars now. What do you think? What do you attribute it to, you think?
Dean Franco.
You forgot Dim Franco.
Dim Franco.
There you go.
You want to start?
Pretty good.
Greg, you want to start, or you want me to start?
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
both can answer if you want.
Yeah, I think what we mentioned before in past episodes is, what Sonny's brought is really unique, and I feel like the pendulum is one of those things that is, very attractive to look at, but also could be very useful for somebody that's really into the movement and engaging. So I feel like we've been doing the work, and there's always been interest. It's just, capacity wise, just Greg and I have like other things going on. So, but I think there's been some interest, and of course the exposure and your show has made it a little bit more accessible, because you're so down to earth and people like you. So they're like, hey, if they could get along with Dean, maybe I can.
Hey, if Dean had him on, man, that can't be that bad.
Yeah. He doesn't look that dirty. But I think that was it. Like even before I was coming into the system, I always felt like Sonny's work was kind of the special, and I felt like the more people saw it, the more people will be more interested in it. And then I don't know what Greg's take.
Yeah. What say you, Greg?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where you might be seeing the uptick of followership or popularity. But yeah,
Oh, it's Facebook.
all I could say is that what Sonny made and what he had created, and what he handed off to us to create with is fascinating, and I think it also helps everyone in their fight game and their eskrima game and their swordplay game, and I hope people can derive value from it. And so if any kind of reason that there's some sort of uptick in popularity and interests, it's due to our teacher and what he had created. And so, yeah.
Plus, I think you guys are just incredible reps. Obviously, I mean, you two and Maya. I mean, I'm sure if he's looking down, he's obviously happy and proud of what you guys are doing. I mean, between Instagram and Facebook, I've definitely seen momentum from you guys and the interest being generated. And I mean, you just recently had a seminar, was it Midwest, Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, or Detroit?
Yeah, we got invited to Detroit. So I came out there and visited some folks, some really diehard, seasoned martial artists that I think one of them will get to come on today. But shout out to Guru Kurt over there and Dr. Greenberg. They're the folks that organized and kind of
who hopefully may be joining us later.
Yeah, he texted me in his arch challenges. He has his daughters or might not let him escape. So
they might. Well, yeah, that's a tough one.
He'll be involved somehow.
Yeah.
Part of the science style. You gotta sneak your way in and sneak your way out.
That's it. And you can't ignore those doors. And we got some folks already jumping in and saying hello. Let's just acknowledge these folks. All right.
Shout out to those folks.
We got Eric O'Brien from Florida. We got Dan, Pennsylvania, who will be coming on later. We got Tracy downstairs in the living room. All right. We got Chris from Georgia. We got Chad Bailey. We got Tuan Belton, Jason Moore, Daniel Hill. Sounds like one of you guys. We got Kurt from Alaska. And I'm here because of Dean's culture. I forget that. I saw that 1992. And Jeff Chung from New York City, and we got Robert Pagan. And all right.
Jeff is inviting us to come out to New York as well. So thank you, Jeff, for the invite. So we might be we'll be out there in May as well.
Oh, the city? Oh no, okay. Yeah, when about?
May 6, 7. Cinco de Mayo.
I'm going to remember that. I mean, that's not too far from me. Come down there and see you guys.
You come out. I'd love to have you, Dean.
Oh my gosh, I would love to be there. Yeah. For sure. So, all right, let's get into. I mean, because I know we're gonna have Greg chiming in, and plus you got some folks there with you, Guru Jay.
I got Justin here representing, and we got some folks virtually gonna come in.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, absolutely. All good. All right. So
Chad for the invite.
Yeah. So you guys, I mean, so current status quo, in addition, you guys still doing the online classes and what have you?
I'm teaching privately, in person. The online classes have slowed down a bit, so I'm just taking privates in person.
Yeah, that's okay. You guys are still teaching. And how about you, Guru Jay? You privates and online classes still?
Still doing the online classes. I try to escape, but the guys won't let me. And then I'm doing some in person twice a week. Yeah.
All right. Good. Yeah. And then it sounds like you guys got some seminars coming up. I mean, NYC. You guys just have one in Detroit. Any other seminars potentially on the table?
Yeah, well, we're going to put together a world camp or a camp for our VSEK instructors. So Greg, Maya, I'm going to throw the invite out to some of our senior students who likes to be behind the scenes underground, but see if they will want to come out. So we're looking somewhere in May or June. So, if folks are around the Bay, come check it out, and we'll come get all the flavors of Sonny's work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Guru Greg, are you still in that area, or have you moved, or where are you at?
He's in the snow right now.
Well, I'm currently I'm currently in Lake Tahoe, but I'm still in Oakland in the Bay Area, teaching in my backyard or wherever folks might be available. But yeah, no thanks to me. I think all the seminars are being conducted by Jay. He's in demand.
He's in demand. Yeah, we're gonna get you in there too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's in demand in other communities. That's why.
Yeah. So, okay, the pendulum. Obviously, this is one of the things. I'm not saying it's the only thing that makes you guys unique, but for outside lens looking in, it's definitely one of the more notable things you notice of what you guys do. It seems like it's a very integral, important piece, apparatus for you guys training. Before we go into any show and showcasing what you guys are doing, why is the pendulums? This would be for both of you. Whoever wants to go first. Why is the pendulum apparatus so important to what you guys do?
I think first I want to just kind of mention that there's our pendulum flow, right, where there's two per person, and then we do our pendulum ball training, right, where we're doing it with the ball, right. So just to kind of identify those two things, and for us, for me personally, I just feel like it's really just the pendulum is just such a great one for exercise and cardio, but that's not what we're there for. But the idea of like reading timing and distance and range, instead of being stagnant and like trying to pull off my techniques when both my feet are on the ground and flat foot, right? Just, people are always trying to get an advantage on you, whether they're going to try to hit you from the side, they're going to try to hit you and ambush you from the back. Folks are always trying to move, right? So it's really important for me to train movement, right? To see that at every period of time frame that my opponent's angle and trajectory is always changing, So I might as well drill that, right? I might as well learn how to move hitting target and also learn how to be a moving target, right? So that's how I feel like it's very valuable for me.
No, okay. Interesting. I'm going to get back to you as far as it too, but Guru Greg, anything you want to add?
Yeah. I think it would be helpful to kind of paint the picture on Sonny and how he kind of came up with it. The generation that me, Jay, and Maya, and several of other our classmates come from is considered the third generation. And so in the first generation, you didn't see the pendulum. You didn't see this flow type movements. And it was largely stick-based, right? Second generation, he started going into more of the pendulum. He had less students. He had kind of a rough kind of time in his life where a lot of things had to change for him personally and also in his journey in Eskrima and just in fighting in general. That's where he experimented more with this idea of pendulum. So backstory with Sonny Umpad, for folks who don't really know him too much, he happens to be a champion hustle dancer or ballroom hustle dancer, right? And he played bass in the band. He played music. A matter of fact, the music that he played in our training videos, some of that's original Sonny music. So before I go into a whole nother tangent there. So Sonny's musical, he's an artist and he's a dancer. And I think how he came up with this tool and this idea of the pendulum was, how does he train alone in his apartment, and he found a lot of value, not only for it to be, but also something to move with while he was experimenting alone. And then when he would have class with us, then he can implement it. So it was important for him to have something to work with as a tool. Necessity breeds invention, and so that kind of thing. I think that's kind of where it came from, and the fact that he's so musical and he's a dancer. This kind of came up with it. Now he's not the first one to use a pendulum as a tool. Obviously, boxers use it for bobbing and weaving and timing. And so, just to give a background, I think that's kind of how we come to this point of how we use it and how it's evolved.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, boxers using it. In Lamaico, we have it where you throw it out and you hear it and you recover. You know what I mean? Like if I miss, I'm recovering on the strike, you know what I mean? With a position adjustment, depending on the angle that's coming at you and so forth. But I think you guys don't make, to be honest, I mean, you guys really, I think, really have explored and just, further evolved, if you will, the use of it. Guru Jay, you mentioned there's two aspects to it. There's the solo training where you actually have the ball, and then you mentioned the partner training. Maybe you can just give us some of the details on that, what distinguishes the both.
Yeah, so it's one feeds the other, right? What Greg was expressing earlier was, Sonny being solo and drilling and working out on his own, right? So that is the mirror image of a pendulum flow when there's another partner, right? Where now instead of the ball's pendulum swing, it becomes a human being, right? And the ball could translate as the fist, could translate as an elbow, could translate as the head, right? And then you kind of so then in a pendulum flow, when you see us flowing with one another, when it's cooperative, right, where you're throwing, you see us throw a strike and the other person is parrying that first strike. So that's when we're starting to identify the in and out of a potential engagement, right? Because in a real fight, whether it's going to be a left hand, a right hand, a kick, a tackle, someone's with a weapon, it's some engagement of going in and going out, right? And then it's just now a matter of angles that you take. So then for us, it's in the pendulum flow, then we can have that conversation, that give and take, the conversation, cooperative. And then in the pendulum ball training, it's a little bit more limited, because then it's just a matter of, because it's an object, but what you're identifying here now with the pendulum ball training is like range, trajectory of movement, distance from the apogee to the freaking perigee or whatever. It's like the closest and the furthest part of its of the pendulum apex, right? So you're literally identifying every piece of the movement, right? So that's kind of valuable, but it is still limited, right? Because it's just a ball, right? Like you hit a ball, then when you hit the ball, then the trajectory changes, the behavior of it becomes erratic. So how do you behave to that behavior? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just a matter of using it as a tool for different scenarios. So the pendulum ball is solo training, and the pendulum flow is when you're with a partner and you guys are doing the give and take. So I don't know if that cleared it up.
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely does. When you, I'm going to get back to you. So Greg, anything you want to add as far as the compare and contrast to the both?
Yeah. I think Jake pretty much summed it up. But just to reiterate, the pendulum ball is definitely the tool that we utilize for solo training. But it also teaches us how to embody the idea of the pendulum, whether it's forward or backward movement or neutral positioning, distance management, and timing. And so you learn these little things just from a little tennis ball on a string. But then when you partner with someone, those attributes are transferred to partner work, and arguably those things are the most important things in fight fundamentals. And I think that's why it's so fascinating, intriguing, and it's so simple to derive these kinds of things from this little tool. There's pros and cons to it, because a pendulum has a fixed cadence and tempo, and so it's a good thing and a bad thing, because if your guide, your teacher, your kuya, or whomever doesn't tell you that, hey, people don't fight like this and don't fight on a rhythm, because similar to like boxing, there's rhythms that can time you, or Muay Thai, especially when people are just timing them, raising their legs and stuff like that. So there's pros and cons to it. hopefully you have a good guide like Jay or I or Maya can walk you through all of that. But yes, just to summarize, it's the tool and the attributes transfer to the body.
Yeah, no, I think you guys are being honest with that. I mean, it's a good supplemental thing, to in absence, like you guys mentioned, as far as the ball is concerned, in absence of a training partner. I guess my next question would be to both of you: when you have a new student per se, and you want them, and they want to incorporate that training at home, like, is there, what do you give them as far as advice, or like a big stepping stones, I guess, if you will, to become, I guess, somewhat fluent at it, where, like you said, that it's not going all around erratic and they're chasing air, how do you guys go about that? Let's go, Jay's still with us.
Rosa,
I don't know if he's temporarily frozen.
you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You want to go first, G?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to learn how to use it, I think the important thing is that if they use a tennis ball, they fill it with something, because that's the number one thing that people are like, yo, how do you get it to not bounce around?
No, yeah.
Which could be cool and fun too. But what I usually do, what me and Jay do, is we usually fill it up with pennies or like rock,
Okay.
Whatever, and then you just hang it. That way it has a little weight to it. And the other thing too, it's just like there's no right or wrong way to play with it. Just kind of move with it. But the idea is just to match the movement and match the range with it. Super accessible.
Okay. Here's, I guess, my question, Greg, is when you're adding weight to it, whether it be pennies or rocks or what have you, how are, from that point, I mean, obviously you're cutting a hole, but when you get that, whatever you're putting in there as far as content to make it to weighted, how are you then, I guess, how are you hanging it up from that point? Or what are you using far as like string, or what do you find the best?
Oh man, I have an elaborate setup, but for folks who don't have who have the bare, you could the bare necessities, you can use a shoestring, you could use yarn or fish wire. What I use now is paracord, because I'm super tactical.
Because
And
you're tactical.
and I hang a spring, and the spring hooks onto the eyelet with thread, and I just make sure it's on a beam or a joist or something like that.
Okay.
That, you hit it, it kind of has some give to it, and you're not bothering your neighbors or anything. Does that help?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And Go Jay, same question, I guess, to you. One, how do you guide beginning students who want to incorporate this training into them? And what say you?
Yeah, well, I think that's cool, because we get to bring in Dan today. Dan is one of our virtual students from Pennsylvania, and he started off as a virtual student before he actually got to feel the pendulum in real time with me. We also have Justin here. Justin, who also studies with me. During the pandemic, it started off virtual, but he was local, right? So we could talk, like we could have them share later, if that's okay with you, Gurudeen.
Absolutely. Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you want to showcase something now with your guy there,
sure. I think we'll wait a little bit.
You want to wait a bit? Okay.
Yeah, and but yeah, I think for me, if someone is coming in, one of the foundations that I load, whether it's a pendulum ball session, virtual or in person, is we introduce the actual pendulum movement, right? The cordon, the forward movement, the cuerdas, the retracting or backward movement, and the neutral, which is the neutral, right? Because that's like one of the staples of Sonny's. Then we just kind of bring that into the person or onto the pendulum ball. So like, okay, here's a forward movement, right? Like I've seen folks, with all due respect, was like tagging me on videos when they were doing the pendulum ball, which I thought was dope. I appreciated that. But some of them were just kind of using it as a target practice instead of like understanding the movement with in and out with it.
Kind of moving with it and harmony with it. Gotcha.
And the tool for that, for the new beginner students, is the pendulum. So I introduced the in the forward movement, the neutral, the backward movement, and then our sun salute or our star pattern, which is the eight rays. So those are the two tools that I load up to the student, whether it's in person or on the pendulum ball. That way they get a grasp of the in and out, whether it's a person or the ball.
So it sounds like, I mean, for the utmost benefit to do both. Am I hearing that correctly?
Can you repeat that again?
So it sounds like for the utmost benefit, while you obviously can set up the tennis ball, but in conjunction with that, you much as humanly possible want to get with somebody else and have that pendulum flow with somebody. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's the ideal situation. That's how Sonny had us. He's like, come to class, boom, and then he'll do it on the pendulum ball, and he'll like do that at home, right? And what happened was the pandemic came into play and changed the whole game with the pendulum ball for us. It's no longer just a supplemental study. It became a primary study that could be supplemental to everybody else's fight game. It's not just Sonny's tool in the living room anymore. It's like, with the tools actually, and then we just load in our 17 strikes. So we're loading in the pendulum, the footwork, pendulum footwork, and then the 17 strikes. Those are the two tools. Then they're in it. They could do it at their own pace now. They can just do it like.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like if they want to work maybe the first four or something, then they can add the next. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah. Guro, Greg, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to just to kind of add on to that is like you were saying, the tool of the pendulum training by yourself transfers into partner work, and ultimately that I think that is one of the hallmarks to what Sonny's system is this pendulum flow that so many people see me and Jay do on YouTube. I guess is that the idea of a pendulum flow versus the pendulum tool, and I think the pendulum flow, if I could kind of talk about it a little bit, is it looks similar to like a capoeira Jenga, I think, but linear.
I can see that, yeah.
Opposed to lateral. And I think the idea of play and this reciprocal one-for-one give and take creates a whole kind of modality of training that is not drilled nor sparring. It's somewhere in the middle. And it's a way for us to experiment attacks, combinations, without necessarily the pressure of hard sparring, right? So if you had a spectrum, if one side was drilling, one side was hard sparring, I would argue that pendulum flow is right in the middle. Because it's controlled. It's similar to something like, what's the one for one that people say it's...
Sombrada?
Sombrada, right? But even then, I think Sombrada kind of has taken its own life and it's become more drill based. But talking to several other peers who practice it, Greg
is now presently getting mugged.
Sombrada really is supposed to be kind of a light spar, keeping people on their and so I would argue that the pendulum flow is similar to something like that. While it is a cooperative, and yes, we're on this kind of rhythm, we're allowing our partners to play with the rhythm and mess with our rhythm, and also to break the rhythm and play with the distance and range. And so there's a kind of an agreement as to like, okay, we're gonna first make sure we're competent in the skill sets to enable us to play first, right? And if the beginner doesn't have those skill sets, then we start there and just make sure that they got the right skill sets, that they can shoot, hoop, they can dribble and do layups, that sort of thing, before they start playing in the game and running plays, right? And so that idea in that sense is the pendulum flow that everyone sees me and Jay do is kind of where we would like to get our students. And so that's the differentiation between the tool and the embodiment.
Well said. Interesting that you brought up that in between, what I mean? Like the modality of like, okay, you're not going super hard, but you're not doing a memorization of a drill where you know what's coming, when it's coming, you know, whether you break the pattern or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're so right. And I think what makes your guys, what you do unique is that in between where it's not drilling, you don't see memorization, but at the same time, you don't see two guys just going ballistic at each other and you can't make heads or tails what's going on. But you guys have that in between where you actually can look at that flow, that in and out, and in concert with your partner, or hopeful concert with your partner, depending on their level, I guess. So that's interesting. I think that really what that aspect does make you guys unique. Guru Jay, what do you say on that? You know, that in between that Guru Greg.
I mean, man, you know, Greg is fucking a scientist when it comes to this stuff. It's just hearing him really ignites a lot of my own synapses in my brain. And you know, I got two guys here, and they're like nodding their head, like they're nodding their head on all of that stuff, right? That in between place is really a special, unique space, right? One is you get more mileage, right? Because then the more mileage you have without being hurt, the better you get, right? Mm-hmm. And then I know a lot of us in some of our primal machismo, we want to like smash and hit, you know, but there's a lot of finesse in the Filipino martial arts. You know, if we're going to be battling conquistadors with long weapons, armors, you can't just be smashing. You can't be smashing. You got to bring it back to some of the traditional, some of the, you know, indigenous to me in terms of like, you know, getting evasion, escaping, right? And part of the pendulum that we learned, that middle part, is then if it doesn't work the first time, let's do it again. Let's try to look for another way, right? And then you get repetition, right? Then what's cool about that is then, as long as you both keeping yourself honest, like you tap somebody like, yo, got you. And he goes like, yeah, you got me. Instead of, you know, that's another reason why I feel it's really great to have. I think, you know, me and G has always been kind of like, bro, regardless of what system, folks, if they use this, it'll make them better, you know, because then you get all of this repetition. And then regardless of what system you represent, then you get the understanding of, you know, those repetitions and the mileage, you know, and then, you know, what, like I think I mentioned before, like the magicians, what do magicians use to hypnotize you? Right? A pendulum swinging, right? So that's why you see people pendulum and you're like, what the hell? I'm kind of dragged into it. But then what's happening is like, but then what that does is it's giving us, we're bathing in timing, you know, we're like immersed in timing. You know, so it's no longer us waiting. It's like we're in it, whether it's, you know, so that I think that's so valuable. You know, I think that's so valuable. Then when I go out there and spar, because of the repetitions that I get, I have more to pull out, you know. So
if I more thing,
sure.
The pendulum too, like I want to, because Jay just mentioned something that reminded me something of when people watch us do the pendulum and flow, they might see us break and stop and walk in a circle. That's because one of us has gotten each other, and we acknowledge, like, okay, you got me, and that was good, and then we break. A lot of the times, the pendulum flow can actually escalate into a spar, and that's where it's like, you know, simmer down, break, and walk. And a lot of the times, you would play music, what, you know, it would be up tempo where he'd really like want us to kind of put pressure on it. Or he'd play something real slow and he would say Tai Chi, you know, Tai Chi speed. You know, that's but the pendulum flow could escalate, and that's where the discipline between the practitioners have to be like, okay, no, let's throttle our intensity and let's get back to baseline. Because right now we're almost sparring, you know, and which is good, but you have to agree that this is the modality that we're going into. So
can I add on to that too?
Sure, go ahead.
Just to add on to what Greg was saying, then for you, if you're like an advanced student, you know, you got to make it accessible and welcoming, right? So you can't like run over the person who's learning the shit first. You kind of throttle down, and then that gives you, so you're helping pull them up. You're becoming a really good partner, right? Sure. And then you kind of show them what you're seeing, right? And then it kind of helps scale them up. So then the other benefit of a pendulum, it's like it helps scale up the both person skill set. You know what I mean? Faster, rather than trying to run them over and be like, yo, I got it. Sonny
Right.
would sit us down. Like if there's somebody in the class in his living room that starts acting a fool, he would sit you down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Probably for the best. I mean, just
yeah,
for safety and just not let him get ahead of himself. But I
yeah,
totally see the whole fake when you guys are doing that. Like, I see the baiting. You know what I mean? It's to me, it's a thing of beauty just watching you guys like in that state. It's almost hypnotic. You know what I mean? If you're watching it, and but I definitely see that baiting. You know what I mean? And I think it's great.
There's a lot of play in it. There's a lot of deception in it, and there's a lot of strategy that goes in it. And we'd like to get our students there to where they can start playing strategy and start playing baiting, like you said, because and transfers into real fighting, stick boxing, sword play, or just regular, just open hand fighting. And so yeah, definitely.
Which is my next question. You guys, I mean, so this training aspect. This goes across, whether it's weapon or empty hand, right? Correct. Okay.
Yeah, it all transfers. It doesn't matter what the weapon is.
Regardless, I mean, okay. Yeah. So, with new students, are they starting out empty hand or with a weapon, or does it matter?
I think I mean, the way Sonny had us. Well, it's a little different the way Sonny taught us, though, but since we were the youngest ones, he actually started us with footwork and literally started us from the ground up. But generally speaking, if you're already of age, you start with the weapons first. But
Weapons, and then you would transfer to empty hands. Okay.
well, in the same breath, I'd like to say that martial arts should fit the individual and not the individual to the martial artist, right? So a lot of the times when me and Jay were training there, we would always see people come in and out on separate days. Like new faces, would come, and people would come for specific things. And I think that's a good thing. And so depending on an individual, they may start with a weapon or they may start with open hand. It really depends on where they're coming from, where they're at in their journey, and how
Okay.
guide them.
All right. All right. All right. I did get a. I'm sorry. Did you want to add on that, Guru Jay?
yeah. I think that was the benefits of having Sonny's teaching in a small group setting, right? Like he tailor fit the schema for you, right? But in general, if me and Greg was to hold a workshop, for example, or a seminar, we would, the foundations always, right? And we put some videos out there, some awesome production, the Pendulum and the Sun Salute, right? So from there, it's like concurrent single stick and open hand and open hand, because Sonny wants to get you to flow already, right? So usually the flow will be like with open hand. He'll just get you to do some pangamot with him, and you start moving and you start feeling good. You're like, oh damn, I'm already doing this shit, and then he'll mount the weapons, because then you get the idea of movement, right? So I think one thing about Sonny was he was about movement. He was about to let me get you to move first. He would tell his
regardless of what's in your
students
hand or not
that were
your
like
hand.
robotic. He would ask his students to go take dance classes. So he wants you to be mobile, and then again, we had the blessing of such a small group setting that it was like open hand. Here's a stick, But for when we do workshops, me and Greg definitely get people to do the pendulum right away.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, just to start, like you said, moving your feet in and out, and okay. And all right, I did get a question in from Maestro Alvin, and basically, his question is, you guys touched on it a bit, but how to set one up, and obviously, you guys touched on the weight, the weight aspect, whether you're putting pennies or rocks in there, what have you. But other than that, what do you guys, because it sounds like you guys maybe have different setups, but overall, I guess what would be the easiest way to convey to somebody here in the interview how to set one up?
Well, Sonny would always tell people, get a fish sinker. They have those really big, heavy ball bearing.
Yeah.
Those are the easiest, most accessible things. Go to a fishing store and bait and tackle spot. Get some baits. Or if you don't want to do anything like that, get a tennis ball. But something like that, fish line or shoestring, that kind of thing, and just get one of those eyelets, eye hook things that you could screw into the wall, and you got yourself a pendulum.
There you go. So when you're making mention of the fish weight there, so you're putting it right in the ball, and then from there, are you kind of taping around it? So it's obviously not that I can't imagine it's going to come out easy, but is that kind of the plan, or?
Well, you can trick it out however you like. I usually put these little springs on there just so there's a little give to it.
Oh, they'll give, so it won't just. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Sonny had a variety of types of pendulum apparatuses. Actually, he had a ton of different kinds of tools that he made himself. What I like currently, if folks are gonna go on Amazon, I wish I had a affiliate code so I would make some money off of it. Boxers have an actual pendulum. I forget what it's called. Someone in the comments should know this, but I believe it's called a maize ball because they fill it with corn or maize. But it looks like a speed bag. You could fill it with rice or old clothes or something like that, and it zips up. It's soft and it's a big target, and you can hang it up with paracord, that sort of thing. So
okay, yeah. So I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty easy.
I'm here for the rights. Here's one of Justin, one of our practitioners, tennis ball slit. We had to slit it with a razor blade and then just a paracord that ties it, right? And then weighted with a few. What you got here, Justin?
Pesos, mga pesos.
He's got some coins from the Philippines here,
Okay.
It's valuable, get that weight on there.
Authentic.
What'd you say, G?
Authentic Filipino.
Exactly. And then we throw chinelas at it, some flip flops. But then, then usually what I will do is at the end of it, I'll do a small bungee cord, right? The bungee cord will give it that like little give. So when you hit it, it doesn't pull it out of the wall, right?
Gotcha.
And usually if you don't have a tree limb and, indoors, you got to do some drilling with one of those things that holds it in place in the drywall.
Yeah, the eye hooks there. Yeah. Okay.
But I cheat a little bit. I like to open up light fixtures. I open up light fixtures. I look at the solid parts, and I wrap shit around there, pretty much like I did here. You see that my pendulum ball is attached to the light fixtures. Just make sure that it doesn't fall off and bang you in the head. Just using some some mindfulness in how you safety. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So
once we bring in Dan will show you his version, because I asked them all the virtual students, and I was like, you want me to send you one on mail? They're like, no, we'll just make it. So they created their own. I told them my version, but them fools got like drills and shit. They're like used like
they're going freaking all out.
They went with it.
He's gonna be jumping in soon. So did you want to? He should be jumping in 8:20. Did you want to do whatever you want to do, or you want to wait till Dan comes in?
I would say let's get those guys out of the way. I mean, let's bring them in and maybe spend like 5 minutes just chopping it up with them. Why the pendulum is valuable for them, especially.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him.
And then we'll save them towards the end.
Yeah, no sweat.
Yeah.
So Dan, if you're
come on in, Dan, and you can make me disappear to make room for him if you want.
Actually, no, we can bring him. Oh, you guys can still hang with him when he comes. Yeah, we can. I got 4 windows, so that's fine. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions or anything. Who else? We got a bunch of folks that jumped in. We got Vic. We got Dr. Kelly Warden. All right. Jeff Chung. It would be great to see you in the city.
Kelly Warden.
Yeah, I'm just.
Dr. Kelly.
I'm wondering, Jeff, if you're ex-SEOC. If so, I do recall you.
Ron, attorneys in there. Torno's in the house. That's awesome.
Who else? We got Guru Terry. We got Tuan Jack, GM Ron Saturno, Glenn,
Baseballers.
Micro Alvin. Yeah, we got Kurt. Yeah, and we got Emmett. All right. Yeah, folks, if you're watching, you got questions, let us know. Oh, we got Maestro Mario here too.
What's up, Guru Mario?
He just jumped in.
Kamusta na? Kamusta ka,
All
boss?
right,
Kamusta ka na?
Teacher.
All right, Dan is here. He just jumped in.
Kamusta na? Kamusta ka, boss? Kamusta ka na?
All right, Dan is here. You want Dan to show his
Hey guys, how you doing?
Kamusta na? Kamusta ka, boss? Kamusta ka na?
All right, Dan is here. You want,
The echo and feedback was from Mars.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Where's that coming from?
Boom. I think that was me. Sorry, I had Facebook
Okay,
open
better.
in the other tab.
All right.
We
No,
good
that's
now?
perfect. It's better now. Perfect.
All right,
Okay.
cool. Sorry about that.
No worries. So, Guru Jay, what do you want Dan to showcase?
I think, Dan, if you want to just maybe showcase one really quick, your design for the pendulum ball, and maybe briefly your setup, and then if you could choose one pendulum ball drill that has worked for you, or it's useful for you, maybe you could share that, and that could kind of launch us towards a demo.
Sounds
We can
perfect.
Bring in Guru Jay afterwards too, and then Guru Greg, feel free to just hop in at any time.
Yeah. All right.
All right, cool. So when I set out to put together a pendulum ball, basically I just took the tennis ball and I got a deck screw, and I just punched the deck screw straight through the tennis ball. Then I took some paracord because, like Guru Greg there, I'm super tactical, and I just threaded this around the end of the screw and pushed that right back through the hole, and then tied it off on the end. Then to weight it down, I just took a utility knife, cut the side of the ball, stuffed about $1 worth of pennies in there, and then wrapped some tape around it, and it was good to go. So the end result looks like, let me grab this real quick. End result looks kind of like that. So I put a couple knots in the bottom so it wouldn't slip off, and that probably weighs, I don't know, close to a pound with all the coins in there.
Okay.
And then just a tip for anybody that is doing this, with Guru Jay online. The first one I made, I used a darker string and just a regular gray duct tape. And then when I was watching the videos of me, training and reviewing the videos, couldn't see a thing up against the gray wall. So I went out and bought some bright orange tape and a much brighter string to try to make life easier.
I got you.
Yeah. So the whole thing, to put one together, it only takes about, using that method, maybe 10 minutes.
Awesome. I'm sure that's going to help folks here watching what you did. It sounds pretty easy enough. Stick a nail through it with a string, tie it on the end, cut a hole through the side, put some pennies in there, and tape it up. You're good to go.
Yeah. If I was a little smarter, I might even pre-drill the holes with a cordless drill. But, I just went with the brute strength method. So.
So what do you,
And Dan, is there anything that you want to share in regards to the pendulum ball? Any drills or anything that's been valuable for you?
Sure, yeah. Let me hang this back up and I'll show you. One of the first drills that Guru Jay showed me maybe 2 years ago when we first started training online that really blew my mind a little bit was the idea of trying to get multiple hits on the same line. So as the pendulum ball is coming towards me, I'm catching it on the tip with like a sura, right? And then tapping with a live hand, tapping with the elbow, tapping with a puño, and then tapping with the tip on the way back out. So you start to get into a little bit of a flow like this. And the idea is, using the shifting of the body weight to maintain that range, and then using very, very, very light taps. So you have to have a lot of control. But what you're also learning there is all the different strikes that you can hit on this line as you go back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And trying to keep the pressure really light, but really learning how to read that line very cleanly and looking at all the different ranges within that line. So when he first showed me that, I mean, I couldn't do it. It took me a couple of weeks of dedicated practice to really get the timing and the shifting of the body weight and the really light touch to have the kind of control to pull that off.
Awesome. Let's go, Jay.
Cool. Thank you, Dan. Is there anything else that you want to share in regards to the pendulum ball training?
As far as the pendulum ball training goes, I mean, the big thing that I put out there is simply that it works. When we started in October of 2020 online, everything was still locked down. And then we had plans to get together about a year later. If you recall, I was going to fly out to California for a visit, and then some other stuff came up. So it was almost 2 years of online training before we got together in person to do some in-person pendulum flow. And I think it was, just a matter of minutes before we were kind of moving and flowing, and all the principles and body mechanics and everything that I learned here really just clicked and worked right away. And so it was very intuitive to pick up the pendulum flow with a partner after a couple of years of solo training down here and just using the ball to work on the fundamentals.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yep. I guess like one other thing I can point out, like an added benefit there is when you're working on the pendulum ball, every single repetition requires micro adjustments to your range, your angle, your timing. So you're constantly like the footwork, the angle of the body, the lean in the body, all these different things. If you're focusing on using just the tip of the weapon and you're always trying to keep yourself at that maximum range, there's a whole lot of different considerations in the way that you're moving. And so one of the big benefits of doing that with the ball is you're making those adjustments with every repetition. There's no repetition where you're just kind of doing it exactly the same as it was the rep before. So even if you're just working an angle 1 and an angle 2, as it's coming in and out and you're moving with it, you're making lots of little adjustments to keep that range exactly where it should be.
Awesome. Guru, Greg, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna just say, along with the body pendulum, there's also other pendulums that you have to consider. When Dan was saying the micro adjustments, there's also the weapon pendulum that people don't consider, or the feet, your footwork is also a pendulum of itself, because there's measurements of just your range in general as your whole person, your range in relation with your weapon to the other person and their weapon, and your footwork, because your body could be in range but your feet are out, which could be deceiving in your perception because your body seems to be in range, similar to how Mayweather might do a half Philly, insert his body but then pull out to give a right cross.
They're the right hand, absolutely. Yeah.
So there's several along with the full body.
Okay. That was a good analogy, yeah, with Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think here. I just want to make sure because all right, you got, well, on or around 8:35, Jay is coming in.
Okay.
So Dan, you want to show us anything else?
Was that for me?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to show us anything else?
I just the audio fuzzed out for a second there. Sure, Guru Jay, anything you want me to showcase?
I think maybe you talk about identifying the center line, and
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe just V step out of it, and maybe do a V step out of the center line. How you read that timing and how you would respond, right? And then we can reenact it here.
Yeah, I have a couple spots I can put this. If I put it here, it might make a little more sense based on where the camera's at. So one of the things we look at here is reading the center line. So like I believe Guru Greg had mentioned before, sometimes people in videos, when they're using one of these, they're just kind of swinging at it and using it as a target. One of the things we want to do in Visayan is not just read the ball, but the line. right? So you use the line of the string as the center line. So you're stepping off and clearing yourself out of the center line. So if I'm working fundamental blocks, I might be doing this, and I'm reading that line. As the ball starts to spin around and takes more of a like an elliptical orbit, right? I have to kind of adjust to that and be off that center line. Or if I'm doing basic strikes, same thing. I'm reading the center line coming in, I clear the center line and maybe throw a strike.
Awesome, Dan.
That's great.
Right? Even that simple thing, right? Understand the center line, V-stepping, side-stepping out of the center line. Like you get all of those repetitions, it becomes super valuable. Justin in the back is doing the same thing, right? Like not seeing the ball, not just for what it is, but seeing the actual entire line, entire angles, right? And drawing out those lines.
I think it's great.
You can see Dan has the star pattern on the floor right there. So when he gets out, he's that middle line, that is the center line, right? Because he's following the thread, the string, the ball, all the way down to the ground. So look, the back foot also gets out of the center line. You see a lot of FMA training we do is like we just, angle out, sometimes just the upper body, and sometimes just one foot, right? We're trying to condition ourselves to see lines, angle. So you see the back foot of Dan pulling out of the center line, right?
Yeah.
But right there, it refines his footwork right away.
Well, I like it. Not only to the adherence and acknowledgement to certain line, but making sure your center mass is getting off that in conjunction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
then we got
to
and then we got to start understanding. There's a few center lines. There's that one, right? And then there's the angle of attack. What if it's a 1? What if it's a 2? Wherever that meeting point is, that becomes also a new center line. Sometimes it might match the floor and that angle, but sometimes it might not. So then, we're trying to train ourselves to understand all of those lines, right? And angles.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Also add, currently the pendulum ball is kind of where the sternum is, or where the face might be, but you can change where the pendulum ball is. And Sonny would have us actually start at the ankle height because he taught us footwork, and then you can raise it up to knee height, to your waist, to your breadbasket, and then just right underneath your collarbone, and so on. So you're not limited to where that target becomes at where it's at, and it's really great to use it low at the ankle but still do weapons, because it actually slows the pendulum down, and you have more time to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, and the longer it is, it like Greg said, it slows it down, and then it start to look more like an actual pendulum with a partner. Sorry, I'm gonna go on this side, right? Because look at Justin. Now we brought it down. What Greg mentioned, we brought down the pendulum ball down towards ankle.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
So now look at his pendulum longer. So if I'm gonna match him as a person, like it starts to look the same. Right? Because now it's a full on. Now, in terms of technical application, right? Right, understanding motion in and out, doing our what we call the 5 keys, or different kind of kicking and footwork planting, right? So then when we apply that in real, not real time, but in flow, then I can do those same things with the ankle, right? Boom, 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 right? Right? I jam the angle, hit the knee, come in. Right? So all of those I'm understanding with doing this movement. Right?
Nice.
Right? And then, so just kind of understand the timing, the in and out. So then we learn the full notes. Because then when we start, sparring or training or taking it to the next level, the pendulum just gets shorter and shorter.
Got it. No, I like
See,
that.
when boxers faint, we see that as the pendulum chopped down to fractions, right?
Right.
All of those are the same movement, but it just chopped down to fractions. So when we're doing half body pendulum, or people are fainting, we're learning how to read
Mm,
as well from the pendulum training.
Yeah,
awesome. Awesome.
the target is
All
harder to
right.
hit. Yeah.
I got
And I could
okay,
just
good.
thing really quick, at the risk of sounding martial arts and craftsy, FMA, sometimes I think teachers don't differentiate the art and the combative part, the fighting, you know. And to our teacher, Sonny Clyde's credit, I think if I could, he combined both arts and the combative aspects into what it is that is the pendulum, because it does teach us fight, but then there's also a place for us to accentuate and stylize what we do, because there's things that me and Jay do just to have fun, and that's the art part, you know. But then when we start hard sparring, and that's where you really, you know, that's where you could really trim down and see, like, okay, I can't get away with this in hard sparring, but the pendulum allowed us to have the imagination to see what's possible. Just like science fiction sometimes informs scientists to see what's possible out there. I think we need the artists, we need the radicals to show us, like, think beyond the box, to see all other alternatives. Because there's only so many ways that we can move. There's so many ways we can, you know? So what are these other ways? Anyway, all right, that's enough for me.
No. But you know what? I think it goes, Greg. I think it goes back to what you're saying. What makes you guys unique is that middle piece you guys have. You know what I mean? And I think that middle piece, it allows where you can see the art, but yet you go across that line, then you can start getting into that combat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you can back up into happy middle, you know, so to speak. There. So I think that it's that middle piece you referenced. I think is what makes your guys kind of unique and significant. Of course, you know, utilizing the pendulum, you know, but we got Jay here, so I'm gonna have Dan exit.
Okay. Bye, Dan. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys. See you soon. Take care.
All right. All right, we got Daniel Hill here. Dean also has star pattern on his shirt.
Yeah.
I like this guy already. This guy's all right. I don't know who he is, man, but he's all right. All right, Dan. Thanks, man. Take care.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Let's bring in. And you guys, anything you guys want to add to that, Guru Greg, Guru Jay? Not about my shirt, but we're talking about that middle game.
I love the chili peppers.
Hey, the middle path, like the Buddha.
The middle path, huh? All right, we got Jay here. What would you like Jay to show or talk about?
Hello, sir. Good to have you, sir. Jay's another one of
Hello, sir.
You know, all of these folks that's training with us are like seasoned martial artists, you know, so they've been around the block a few times. They know what's up. So we're super honored that they come to us and train with us because, you know, they've seen a lot already. So for them to come here and call this one of their homes is an honor. So Jay's one of those guys, Jason Ward, over there in Canada. Sir, if you could just briefly share your setup of your pendulum apparatus, and then maybe you could talk about the benefits of the pendulum ball training for you, and how it benefits your martial arts game, your eskrima game in general.
Absolutely. So first, when it came to creating my pendulum ball, I actually went to Staples, and they have these tennis balls that you can buy that are already pre-cut. And these are usually used for the bottoms of chairs so that they don't scuff up the floors. So you can get a 4-pack pretty cheap. And like Dan, I put a hole through the bottom. I ran my line through. And then what I did was I tied a knot at the bottom and taped it around so that nothing would fall out. And I filled it with sand. And I actually created 2 of these. One, which is right around chest height. And then I created another one that's much, much longer that goes to about mid-calf level. And I use this for kicking or sometimes just learning to get out of the line of fire. And how I hook all these up, I have an eye hook in my ceiling. As you can see, I have an unfinished ceiling. And I just use these carabiners. So all I do is I just hook it, play with it, and when I'm done, I can switch it out or change it. What I like about Visayan that the pendulum ball offers is, like I said, getting off the line. So as this is coming in, if I just leave my leg, if I just do one step off, you'll see that it hits me. Whereas we have a thing called tucking the tail where I have to move the leg off that line so I don't get hit. So it's not just about, for example, here, just V-stepping, I can still get a cut to my leg. So as it comes in, I learn to move that leg off the line completely. Another thing I really love about Visayan, as Dan mentioned earlier, is this is the center line, but it's also the weapon. So in a lot of the fights that I've had, what I try to do is watch that weapon come in as if it's the pendulum ball. So as it's coming in, I can move and get my hit in. So I sort of sneak it in around the line. So I'm coming past it. So that's one thing that Visayan has really given me a wonderful amount of material to think about. The second is trying to change ranges. So for example, if I'm here, I can strike here. But one of the things we do with Guru J is we'll do a follow-up. So here, I'll strike and then have to extend out. So I change from a medium to a largo. So in some of my fights, I'll be here, I'll swing, and then I'll just reach and get that strike in, and then I can come back out into safety. Or I'll move and get that long reach. And it looks like I'm not going to get you because I'm here in medium range. So when I move over here, you think I'm moving out of range, but I'm actually still able to get to that line just by changing the angle. So that's some of the things I really like about Visayan.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir, for sharing. Appreciate you. And thanks for coming.
No problem. If I may add one more thing too, the empty hand is also a benefit. So, for example, just learning to flow, catch that elbow, follow up with a punch. But then as it changes, you can change here. You can move. You can step off the line this way. So it's really nice to try to learn to flow with it and chase and time it so you just shave that ball instead of just hitting it. So that's one of the things I found very difficult at first, was just shaving the ball instead of knocking it away.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Right. So identifying lines, identifying ranges, right? And then we'll talk about like what tool we have for the range part. But those are beneficial training attributes, that could be useful to anybody, right? So thank you so much, Guru J, for sharing and coming through.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. So Greg, anything you want to add?
No, that was great.
I'm just sent a message to Eric, just seeing if he is planning on coming or not, and I haven't heard back from him yet. So.
No worries. And if he doesn't get to come on, that's fine.
Okay.
I think we got a good response from folks that are, particularly Jay also has been training also virtually with us. Started off just like Dan, just like Eric, right? When I went to do a seminar in Detroit, Eric and Dan was there. Jay wasn't there, but he sends me videos of him sparring and giving me report backs of what's been useful for him and which part of the principle of Sonny's work has worked for his sparring, so he actually collects data, helps me with collecting data and bringing it back. So, so again, a lot of benefits for folks, especially a lot of our seasoned martial artists. They were like, oh yeah, this could be benefit. It looks weird from the outside. It's like, oh, these guys is hitting a ball, right? That ball's not going to hit back. Balls hit back, says Bruce. So,
especially those weighted ones, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Jay.
So,
thank you, Jay.
Yeah, let me just
Thanks,
check my
guys.
message again. Nothing as of yet. So with that, do you
Well,
want
we
to
could show a
continue?
few other things if you'd like,
Yeah.
and then we can wrap it up unless there's other questions. I don't want to take too much of folks' time. I
Sure.
think we just wanted to really share the value of this tool that Sunny has given us,
Yeah, what you guys have done
which we feel like it's going to be valuable for other people,
perfectly.
regardless of what system you represent. And if you all ever need extra support on Greg, I can provide that as well.
A question just came in, whoever wants to take it, from Daniel Hill.
Yeah.
And his question is, what suggestions do the gurus have for someone who trains online, has no partner to train with, and is as fluid as the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz?
That's funny.
Oh, I like this guy already, man.
Yeah. Well, for that question, and I'm sure Greg has his own take on it. The pendulum ball is a great tool, especially
Yeah, it forces you to move again, just it coming at you, man. If you don't treat it like the body of the weapon coming down your center mass, I mean,
yeah, and that's the thing, a lot of our FMA training, we do a lot of these amazing body dynamic movements, right? However, we don't have, they might not give us, we might not have a target, right? So then, you got the dynamics down, but if you're not training for a target, especially a moving target, then how useful is that? How useful will that be? So you want to be able to
agree.
body dynamics and then also have accuracy and have intentionality, and those are things that I feel that the pendulum ball brings.
I think so. And the way you guys utilize it, I totally agree. Yeah. But all right, so let me just double check again, because what I'll do is I'll have you, Guru Jay, just kind of do the stuff with your guys. He hasn't responded yet or seen it. So do you want to?
Fine. Eric is he helps organize things, so he's organizing his kids right now.
Yeah, okay.
I'll let him do what he got to do. But he's always been one of our. Eric has been one of our ambassadors in the art over there in Detroit. He's the one that organized and pulled the trigger and asking me to come out. So, and I just appreciate how much he elevates the art and how much he really values it. Similar to Dan and Jay. So appreciate those guys for coming in. I didn't want it just to be me talking and Greg, because I thought it was a great idea for you to offer these guys to come on. Yeah, and I got two gentlemen here. I'm sure they could share as well. But if you want, we can showcase certain things. Showcase whatever you want, and then Guru Greg can kind of give commentary to what you guys are doing, or you can. Yeah, no, that's great. Maybe you can do some commentary. I wanted to pull up maybe a spar video, maybe to see if something, and I could extract one move out of it. Sure. Maybe the one with it's on Instagram though. Is that all right? Oh, whatever you want. Sure, whatever you want to share. Sure. All right. Go ahead, G.
There's also that YouTube breakdown we have already. That's from the demo. Yeah. Let me see. Is that on your page, G? I think so.
All right. Let me look for that. Well, while we do that,
yeah, whatever's easier.
Well, I have this one of me sparring with GM Giron, and then I can look for that one with Greg.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, okay. I can't find it right now. Let me send it to you, Dean. Or how do can I just send it to you via the best thing to do, while you're doing whatever, if Guru Greg can send me the YouTube link. Well, he is accessible because he's in his car right now.
Let me look for it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. And Dean, I sent you one through Facebook, Instagram. I mean, damn, that's some grandpa shit. Facebook, Instagram, social media, Facebook, Instagram. What I meant to say was Messenger and Facebook. Oh shit.
Yeah, let me, because it's just gonna be a matter if I have to download it. Let me just, but
No, it's
regardless,
you
though.
can just play it. I think. I don't know if. Or
One
yeah, I could
second.
share it too, though, right?
Okay, I just sent the link in the chat. I don't know if you could see that.
You sent it in the chat? Okay, let me check.
It already has commentary in it, but we could just silence it if you want to.
No, that's actually better. That way.
Nothing came in yet.
In the chat.
In the group message, yeah.
I have to
Oh, it says host. I don't know.
stop Russian aggression. Oh,
Wait a minute. Host. Oh, wait a minute.
how can you?
Yeah,
That,
sorry.
bro?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So why is it not letting me?
Folks are tuning in now. Sorry for the ominous lighting. I'm in my car.
Yeah.
It was not.
No,
Why is it not letting me
Gee,
tap it though?
you're like the Sith Lord, bro. Yeah.
Put my snowboarding gear on.
Yeah. I was telling Greg to use his snowboard and the pendulum ball.
Yeah, I know. It did. When we could be in the hotel, it's not letting me click on it. Which I don't.
Yeah, I made it prep. Sorry about that.
How about the one that I sent you, Dean?
It's
It's on Facebook.
Yeah, that I get. I'm just trying how I'm gonna bring it up here without. That's the issue.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Here, you know what you do, Google Greg. If you can send that to me in the messenger,
Let's
I can go right to YouTube and pull it on here.
let me bring this up.
Okay, stand by. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries. We'll keep them occupied.
Keep him occupied, Dean. Take your shirt off, Dean.
All right. What can I talk about while we're getting this set up?
You can't see that.
Who is next?
You can see that video, huh? From Instagram.
I can see it. It's just the issue is pulling it up here.
Oh, I see.
Unfortunately.
What if I share something like we did last?
Yeah. No. See, yeah. Let's see. Definitely. See what you can pull up on your screen. Sure.
Okay. Let's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go. And then while we wait on Greg or something, let's see. Bam, boom. Nope, that's not the button. Is that it? Window.
Yeah, something just came through. So yeah.
Okay, that one.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, maybe. Did it do it?
No, it just they came through, so it's got to be.
Okay.
It was here.
Maybe we just do it live. Fuck it. I don't
know. You know what though? Try it again because it did. I did see it come across where you were going to share the screen, so it had to be maybe like a glitch or something.
Right.
See, okay. So right, you're saying that you're ready to share your screen, so it's got to be here. What the heck? Why is it not?
I can
going
press
through?
share.
Here we go. It should be coming up.
I don't see it.
Where the hell is it going?
Chrome doesn't have permission to capture your screen. That's not what I'm doing. Screen capturing. Okay, let's try it one more time, sir. Let's see. Otherwise. Whoa.
Sorry.
Now.
Wrong button.
That's Brian's son, right? Rocking out. Okay. How's this one?
Okay, show and stream. So we should begin the countdown. Here we go. Okay. Can you see it?
It's a blue screen, but maybe if I press share. No, it didn't do it. It's okay.
What the hell? How about again, if Greg, can you send me that?
Because I was gonna show your video.
I'm on my mobile, so it's not letting me change the settings.
What's your guys' YouTube channel?
Jay, you don't have it on yours?
I think I did. Shit.
Yeah,
You guys just give me the channel. What's it under?
Is it your guys' source buying video?
Can you guys give me what's the channel name, and I can look it up here.
Jay has some sparring videos on his channel. You could look that up.
Yeah. Let's see. One with Greg and I doing, yeah, with the sword one.
Okay.
There's the flow one. Yeah.
Now, do you want me to send it to you, or are you gonna are you not gonna share it?
Either or, if you can try, we can try
I
sharing it.
tried to
If you can't, I can access your YouTube channel and just pull it up here.
I'm sending it to you now, sir, via Messenger,
Okay.
Facebook Messenger. So you're gonna go to Facebook Messenger.
Perfect. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, I can pull it up.
Look,
Awesome.
even Chad is on. Chad's like, what about this video? We got some quick folks on the chat.
Yeah. All right, here it's good to be coming.
I'm gonna
Just
see
bear
you,
with
Chad.
us, folks.
See you in Florida, sir.
All right, copy. All right. There we go. And we will be pulling it up now.
Okay, maybe that'll just be better, that one. And then Greg can also give input on it.
There we go.
Make us disappear.
Okay.
Don't fall, don't bite. Straight into the finger. That's what she said. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's what I wanted. Oh, shit. That was kind of I think I got
Right? Good. Because then you can break it down, do a little breakdown.
switch it up. Guro, I sent you another video if you want to see that one. Oh.
Awesome. I could definitely do it. That everybody was seeing
Yeah.
it, and everybody was really enjoying that. So
There's another. I sent you
yeah,
another one.
I can
Another
take another
one,
one.
more knife, if you want.
Sure. Pulling it up right now.
Yeah, thank you,
So
sir.
this is so did you send this one?
Messenger, Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
and yeah, Alvin said something on the chat. It's like you really have to trust your partner to do this. Yes, like
Yeah.
recognize not
Okay.
just training partners. It's like my family best friend. My brothers went to school with him. I known him since he was a kid, when we were kids. So, we're not trying to kill one another, but we're trying to keep each other honest. We're trying to really be good at what we're
Yeah.
doing. So, there is a certain amount of trust for us to train with certain limitations. Like, for example, we're wielding swords around, but we know our intention. Our intention is to like keep each other honest, but not to hurt one another. But that doesn't mean accidents don't happen, and we're still trying to make sure that we're being careful.
Guru J, it didn't come through. You wrote, here's another one, but the link underneath didn't come through.
Oh, okay. You're right. You're right. That was. How's that one?
I'm going to see it. All right, let me check it out. Here we go. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. It's coming through.
Make us disappear, sir.
And I will definitely going to make you guys disappear when yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, here is another one coming up. All right, I'm going to push the stage in, and here we go, and I will make us hide. All right, we're going to be hiding.
It didn't beat. Dance moves. Like it. Oh! Come on, deeper. Yeah, just count. Just count. Just count. You want to fucking ham hock? We'll go for the ham hock. We're not going to my shoulders. You gotta walk away with that. Oh! The wrist! Don't get caught up inside, gotta have exit.
That's why you don't do that, you guys. Don't fucking. It's dumb. Oh! Got this.
Oh, that was funny. That was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
You guys want to? Somebody just sent me. I don't know what happened to Greg. I just sent him a message. I'm not sure.
He'll probably hop back on.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'm hoping
he
he
was
does.
driving, so he'll come back on.
Oh, okay. Maybe he hit a bad zone or what have you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Chad. Yeah, I mean, what are your first thoughts when you see that? Guru Dean is probably my question for you.
I think it's great. I just love the way you guys play. You make it fun. You make it whimsical, but at the same time, you're acknowledging the shots. You're acknowledging where the deficit was or what happened. I love it. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? All around. You guys bring the play aspect to it, where it's not that whole always that serious. Getting caught. I mean, again, and I think there's so much value to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bringing the play into it, but at the same time, bringing that aspect of integrity and honesty. When you do get hit, you acknowledge it, and you look at, okay, well, how did that happen? Why did I get hit? Did I lean my upper torso too much?
Yeah.
Was my elastico not far? You know what I mean? Whatever the scenario may be, but I love it. I'm a fan.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And I think what happens is because in Filipino martial arts, sometimes because of the weapons, things can be hypothetical. And what happens is a lot of our instructors start to be in the hypothetical realm, right? And sometimes part of that becomes like immortal. Like, I'm immortal. I don't get hit. I don't get cut, And of course, you want to look good in front of your students. You don't want to be the guy that's getting beat up.
There you go.
But
There
what
you go.
happens is like if we kind of take the ego's pill and actually see when we are, see what are some flaws, some things that we need to work on, then it makes it more accessible, even for our students who are beginners, right? So it's okay to lose. You don't want to lose in the street, but the play gives you repetition, so you minimizes you getting cut. And there's play, and I don't know if Greg mentioned it, but there's also what we call, the laro. The laro is also called play in Tagalog, but laro is when we're actually trying to score, right? We want to have fun. And then there's a time where we actually, what G mentioned earlier, when it starts to scale up into a spar, where we're like, hey, look, there's an actual opening. Boom, I score, right? So there's the value of that, So yeah, I really feel like it's really fun, in terms of seeing your flaws and seeing when you get hit and being like, it's okay. When you're not perfect, then refine it, get better. And the pendulum does that for us. It gives.
I mean, come on,
movement.
man. We all get freaking hit, man. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Chad translates this as game, right? You start to gamify the pendulum, right? You try to take the pendulum because it's cooperative, but when you start to gamify it, when you play laro, then me and Greg, who's a little bit more quote unquote advanced, that's what you saw in that thing when we're like trying to get each other and we got you, I got you, right? And a lot of those movement timing is from this apparatus, it's just like, and one of our students here, Justin, could share in terms of how he used it in his spar session, if you'd like. And then, if there's anything else you want us to do before we close out. It's already
actually, I do. You're back. Here we go. Here, Jason Ward
I got the light now.
So if you guys want, I'm going to play this and lower you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start the room to do. Right on. Here goes.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of VSCK's Foundation series in honor of Maestro Sunny Umpad. I'm Guru Gregory.
And I'm Guru Jay.
And today we'll be showing you the pendulum. The idea of the pendulum is to mimic the movement of a hanging pendulum. VSCK utilizes actual pendulums in the practice too, but in this episode we'll be discussing how to embody the idea of the pendulum. Simply put, the pendulum is the oscillation of forward and backward movement, cooperatively recycling your entries and exits, learning how to be on beat so we can later be off beat. All of our training mounts onto the pendulum. You can do the pendulum with or without a partner, but for this video we'll assume you're solo. We begin in neutral. Guard and sit with your right leg. Step forward and shift your weight down the center line with your right guard up. Puntaria, or aim at your opponent. This movement of going forward is called cordón. Now, step back toward neutral. As you glide across neutral, simultaneously switch to your left guard. Complete your right leg step all the way back on the center line. This movement of going backward is called de cuerdas. Your left leg and left guard should now be forward, minding your puntaria. Now repeat the process to continue flowing in the pendulum. Pendulum as long as needed to get the mechanics of it into your body. No striking as of yet. Once you're comfortable, you can start moving around and changing directions by using your pivot foot. To get offline and create a new center line, you use your pivot foot to redirect on the cross star. You do this in your cordón, while in your pendulum, cordón step and pause. From here, you can either step your pivot foot left or right on the cross star. Let's step on our left side first. Puntaria forward. Now, glide your right leg past your new neutral and complete the pendulum with your de cuerda step in the new center line. Continue the pendulum in the new center line and find the timing of your left pivot foot until it feels natural. Now to pivot right is similar. In the pendulum cordon step, then pause. Right leg should be forward. Now with your left leg, back step right. Then glide your right leg past neutral and complete the pendulum with your de cuerdas step in the new center line. Continue the pendulum in the new center line and find the timing of your right pivot until it feels natural. Once you're comfortable on both sides, feel free to improvise and switch to either direction in your pendulum. Now, if you're working with a partner, the partner simply follows the initiator. The important thing is to maintain the rhythm of the pendulum. Take turns in who leads and who follows. Then, when you're ready, try having either one initiate a new center line. As a progression, you can throw a straight punch strike on your way in, targeting your partner's nose or chin, but not making contact with your partner. You'll still be out of range. It will simply be a coordination exercise. Then, mount the blades when you're ready. Again, not making contact yet. The pendulum is a cooperative. It's simply a tool to benefit both practitioners in experimenting and discovering original techniques and how to adjust on the fly. It's simply a paradigm for conversation. It isn't sparring in the sense of one-upmanship. It's a conversation exercise in listening and responding, offering and receiving, giving and taking.
And that concludes episode 2, The Pendulum. Stick around for episode 3 of the Foundation series. Follow our websites and our social media. Keep an eye out for some upcoming workshops and seminars. Like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. We look forward to seeing you next time.
I didn't get to see the video, but what are they working on now?
The one that was just showing?
Yep, I didn't get to see it.
He showed the pendulum video, the episode 2.
Oh, the instructional. Okay, got you. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was really well articulated by both of you. I'm sorry you didn't get.
It's okay. I've seen it tons of times.
Okay. Yeah, but
he made that video, bro.
Well done. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. By both of you. I thought it was well articulated and demonstrated. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so whatever, if you want to show something, Guru Jay, with your guys there, man, I know you got your guys there. So
yeah, we were just kind of like, this kind of turned a different direction. Well, no, it's all in the same direction. But I think that's good. I mean, we could just show you how we use it, the basic, and I think some of the gentlemen earlier in the video, Dan and Jason shared some of it, So yeah, I think this is episode 3, Alvin.
yeah.
Episode 3
years removed. That's all.
This 3, bro. But yeah, we could just kind of show some of the drills that we're doing, sure. and then we could just close it out with that.
Yeah, let's do that. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So and then can G still comment if you make him disappear? Or
I tell you what, I'm gonna lower myself and I'll leave him up and he can comment. How's
I mean,
that?
we love your beautiful
Sure.
Dean, but
Hey, I know where my place is. It's okay.
I seen photos of you with your shirt off, Dean. I saw it.
All right, you guys are good. You ready? Go.
Okay, go for it. All right. I think one of the first drill we're gonna just do right quick is what we showed you, right? Like just kind of V-stepping. I don't know if you can see this stick right here. That will be our center line, and then we're just gonna do our V-steps there, right? And I'm gonna ask Justin and to do it. So this is one, right? And then with a weapon, right? So here's our block 1. Here's our block 2. Umbrella 1, right? Umbrella 2. And then we just show you that, and I'll feed him, and then G can comment, right? And then maybe include, a strike after the block, right? So there's a block, there's a strike, it's a block, strike, right? So now implement that same drill with now a human. So he's going to do the same movements here. All right. Cool. And then we'll go back to. Oh, do it again. Just to kind of show the consistency. All right. Let's go back on the same angle here.
This one.
Next to the star pattern. Oh. Let's go back to where you were again. All right. So just some of the basic stuff that we do. Justin recently got into a spar session, and I asked him which part of the pendulum was valuable for him, and in terms of him getting away with a strike and stuff. And Justin played with a bait. Maybe I can have him explain. Do Justin want to share right quick?
Yeah. So like on the pendulum, it's like how Jay mentioned before. It's like very hypnotic. And kind of get pulled into this trance where you're just kind of like sharing the space, and you're just kind of giving them like a false lead of where your range is, right? And this essentially what I was doing in my sparring session was I was just doing this, and I was just kind of like baiting them in. I was kind of like giving them a false sense of like, oh, we're like taking each other out, because when you're sparring, you're trying to find each other's range, right? And just to mess with his range, I was just kind of giving him like a fake kind of 1, 2, and then I switched my foot, and as he went over, I kind of baited him into that defang, kind of hitting his hand because it came in for a 2, and I just switched my foot. If you like take it really slow, like I'm going right here, kind of faking him out, right, and I'm just changing my feet right there, boom, and then I'm changing my range, kind of like baiting him into giving him a false sense of like, oh, this is how far I'm gonna go from my range, and kind of playing around with that.
Yeah,
I find out that works out a lot.
Excellent. So thank you. So now you just feed me 1s and 2s, right? So for us, keep going. We're just going to use the same flow of the pendulum and then keep moving, right? Boom, to the head, to the hand, right? To the shoulder, right? Staying mobile, staying out of the center line. Keeping out of the center line and just kind of seeing the angle that comes after. So when we do that in our pendulum ball, one of the drills we do is like we do the same pendulum, we strike coming in, and then we guard up on when the ball's coming back at us. Then once they get familiar, they can either V-step to the left or V-step to the right, or whatever angle, right? And then so that's the timing for you to start implementing what's next. So from here, I can strike, then I'm creating a new center line. So then when the ball creates a new orbit, then I go and respond to that new center line, right? So I'm always moving, trying to define that center line. And then I don't always have to strike. I can just feel the in and out. Okay. Right. Another activity we started doing just recently is staying in a certain range inside the box here, using our guards when the ball is coming in, and then using our basic 1 and 2 strikes to try to tag the other individual. So this is a little bit different than just training with it and learning the flow. Here we're actually starting to see it as also a target. Okay. Right, and then you can get hit, right? If you don't guard up. So that's another way to kind of gauge your timing, but also now you got an actual ball coming at you. Let me see if I can tag Justin. Maybe he'll try to tag me before.
Just so I can add something too, is that that's actually something that Jay has innovated upon and added onto the pendulum ball training, is that kind of that tag game. He also does that with some of the Sikaran movement as well with some of his youth. So it's not necessarily something we did in Sonny's class, but this is something uniquely that Jay has added onto the pendulum ball training.
Yeah, I think that's good to say that, G, because not all we're building on Sonny's methodologies, and that's what the Filipino martial arts are all about, right? We kind of add on top of what our instructors has given us. So,
absolutely.
Working with youth, working with kids, this has become something that's working on their skill set, but it's actually started to develop the martial. Actually, working on getting their energy out, but also learning some skills. So what G was talking about, Sikaran, right? Using the footwork to tag each other. You can only use your foot and your knees for defense or for offense, right? And then the objective is for you to utilize a functional, actual kick that makes you tag your partner. Right.
Hey, didn't you say your soccer playing students were good at this?
Yeah, it's funny. As I introduced it to my Latino students, middle schoolers who all play soccer, and I introduced it to them. By the third week, I gave them some tips because of their experience in soccer. They were whooping my ass, right? And we made it into a whole school event where everybody had pendulum balls and they were playing tag with it. And then it kind of build their sense of awareness and made them use the skill. Then they started teaching me their soccer kicks, and I started to implement them here. But again, that's another way to use the pendulum ball, also as a tool, but also as an activity for young people and community, for adults as well, right? We just got to give them the foundations of the keys, the blading the body. So it's not just you're not just kicking the ball, right? The idea is you're also understanding concepts of blading and structure, creating a structure that's going to be functional for a real kick, right? So,
I also think that it's good. It's approachable because what Jay has done is he's kind of gamified the pendulum. So it's not necessarily a combat focus. You're still training attributes like accuracy, target acquisition, range, timing, all of those things. But now he's gamified it for folks where it's just a game. We're not going to hurt each other. So I think it's a very approachable way to instill fight attributes.
Yeah, and you get tagged, right? You get tagged, you're out. So then get out of the center line. And but it could scale up, right? Like you could get, where right now one of the rules with the kids, like hit below the waist. But you could play this with adult martial artists that are highly skilled, and this ball can hit you in the face, It could go to that level, which we've done in the past as well. So anyway, just adding on to the tools that Sonny gave us, really, and just how to make it, like G said, accessible fun, but also developing that skill set, right? So yeah, that's what
He's
they're
doing
doing.
his Miyagi thing, you know.
Coins are popping out now. Coins are
Oh,
popping
there
out.
you go. That could be a new game right there. You know, keep all the coins you pop out.
Yeah.
That was neat. You know, you referenced the soccer. Like I could bet, man, you had those young soccer player cats come in, man. They're probably
man.
just
When they
doing
found
great.
out they could defeat me, they was going for the head. And you know, I encouraged them a little bit, saying that, hey, you know how to do this. You know, you play soccer, right? And then when they got that, they were like, it became a whole school thing, you know. And then what I'll do is I'll show them in what it would look like, right? Right? Or
Yeah. Try your soccer kicks now. I don't care if you're 12.
I don't care if you're 12. Nice, Dean. I like where you're going with this.
Host of the year here, right? You guys in here. Man, oh
I know it's
man.
on your side, but
Oh, hey, you know what? It was all worth it. You guys killed it. You guys knocked that apart, just like you did the first 2 episodes. I think there were close to 100 comments, 30 likes. You guys killed it. So I'm just so glad you guys agreed to come on and we made it happen. And
oh yeah, thank you, Dean. Thank you,
Yeah.
Greg. Greg's all the way in Lake Tahoe, so I had
know.
to encourage him.
I highly suggest, and this is for both of you, seriously, you guys should each do a quick bit, 2 to 6 minutes long video. You send to me iCloud, Google Drive with a photo pic just for the thumbnail gallery. We put it on the YouTube channel. Folks get to see what you're doing. You know what I mean? Again, matter of fact, you guys probably have a ton of videos you could just send me, but 2 to 6 minutes on a singular theme. It could be a tactic, a concept, a drill, whatever you guys want to do, but just send me it. And again, it gets put on the channel, you know.
Thanks always for the invite, Dean. We got tons of stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah,
we want to make sure everybody else in the community get their quick bits in there.
Yeah.
Oh, they're coming in, so we're ready. So
anytime anyone's interested in our teacher Sonny and his material and all of that he had offered, we always make ourselves available. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you both. You guys, again, I mean, the comments speak for themselves. You guys killed it. Killed it. So I'm glad you guys came on. So like the usual, I'm going to download it on the channel and I'll post to you guys' wall. But awesome.
Great, man. Thank you again for having us. Yeah, thanks for everyone supporting, coming through, visiting. We hold a lot of respect for all of these amazing martial artists, and we appreciate you guys helping us elevate our teacher, you know, and his work. So thank you, and thanks to these guys for showing up as well.
Yeah, please. Thank them as well as we'll have to thank Jay and Dan for coming in too.
Yeah, Jay and Dan.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, if I don't talk to you guys have a fantastic New Year.
You as well.
Happy New Year, Dean. Thanks for doing the good work.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Guys like you make it easy. So, you know, and don't be strangers, because I have a feeling you never know down the line I'm going to be bringing you cats back on. You know what I mean?
Sure.
People are sick of us already.
No, far from it.
Yeah.
Guys,
We'd love
the community is definitely not sick of you. No.
Appreciate it.
No way. But all right, hey, well, you guys have a great night. Thank you again, and talk soon. Quick bits.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much for the invite. Thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate y'all.
All right, you guys take care.
Later.
All right. And that wraps up 361. Who is next? Might be having one Friday. I just got to confirm it. Couple neat ones coming up. I'm trying to close out a few before the new year. So I'm trying to get, might be a Q&A. Me and Alan Chambers might throw some questions at Lloyd. That could be an episode. I'm trying to wrap that up. That could be Saturday or maybe even Sunday night on New Year's Day. I can't imagine all of us will be, well, me in particular, won't be doing anything that exciting. But before then, might be having an episode Friday with maybe Seafood Greg Bichardo. He's going to be just doing demos on C-Lot and stuff. So hopefully I'm going to find those soon enough. And trying to get Guru Burton back for part 2. And I'm hoping that maybe it'll be early next week, perhaps Monday. But again, for folks, you heard it. Anybody can do these quick bits. 2 to 6 minutes. You just send a video in, iCloud, Google Drive, profile pic, waist up for the thumbnail gallery for the channel. We post it on our YouTube channel. Folks can see it. They're doing quite well. It's a good way to give yourself exposure to what you do. Again, if you have an interest in this, please just Facebook message me and we'll get you included. We got a group going there, and some folks have been doing it. I got in the library, got like 10 bank, which is fantastic. And so again, if you guys want to do it, let us know. Rubber chicken cookie, yeah, chicken. Yeah, it was Steve Grody's suggestion for a name, so I kind of stuck with it. You know, I have respect for Steve Grody. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. But if I don't get to talk to any of you, please have a happy new year. And if you're watching this and if you've not yet subscribed to FMA Discussion, please do. All our money that we receive goes to charity. You will be helping others in addition to us. All right. So help us out. All right. All right, folks. Take care. And hopefully we'll see you next episode.